body language is saying that, like, you approach me with this conversation, but your body language is showing defense. Not only is your body language showing defense, but your tone also sounds defensive and offensive all at the same time. It's like you're attacking me now. Like, I don't like that. So because I'm in that same mode, I'm not going to come back at you with, I understand. I get it. I understand this, because I don't hear what you're trying to say. I'm looking at your body language and I'm hearing what you're saying out of your mouth, but I'm not hearing that third level, that most important level, because those 75% of communication is body language. The most important is what that person means when they say it.
What are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me, not for the time that I spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a player.
I was the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome. It is me, your boy Marcus Morton. Here with me, as always, my co-host, the Aaron Mack, and the lovely Alicia. You said we belong here.
I said you belong here. I'm talking to the audience.
Oh, yes, y'all do.
And we missing a
welcome.
We missing a co-star today.
She
decided on Tuesday that she won't go feel good on Friday, so it is what it is.
But I mean, she did have to work yesterday. Our vanilla job is putting her into overtime.
I'd rather be in overtime at the job than opposed to overtime in my.
Would you?
The job is less stressful.
Really now?
I mean, that's always the case. It's easy for people to tell you what to do.
It is. It is, sadly.
What we here for today? I mean, first of all, we gotta go ahead and talk about the fact that we back in the studio for the first time in 2-3 weeks now. So, I mean, it was 2 episodes, but it's been 3 weeks since we last did this thing in the studio together. Welcome back.
It's nice.
Yeah,
a little chilly though, but
I'd rather have it cold than hot.
I'm the opposite.
And Alyssa
I'm sleepy.
Is she from Colorado? I don't understand how she like it so hot. Like, it's like she like a tropical creature. It's strange.
It is not always snowing in Colorado.
Anybody from Colorado, feel free to let us know that Alyssa, she probably came from the wrong part of Colorado. It's a desert out there, for one thing. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. It's a desert. It's a whole desert with sand dunes out there and everything.
You'll see.
Sand dunes. Like,
you'll see.
Bro.
That's in one particular area.
That means it's hot. That means
some days it is.
That means that it's barren.
Colorado is also bipolar, just like Virginia. It'll snow, then hail, then rain, then be 65 degrees, then 85 degrees. And then back to rain, and then back to snow, and then back to freezing.
Don't you love those states where you see all 4 seasons in one day?
It is weird.
But Colorado is mostly sea snow. I'm just saying.
It is not. We have, I think it's like 260 days of summer. Well, of warm weather.
That's still a lot.
That still would be more than Virginia. I think that's a lie.
No.
I'm like, all I'm saying, man.
It's like 200 something.
On Last Man Standing, every episode they show snow in front of their house. I'm just saying. It was like
because TV doesn't lie.
It was like 2 episodes where they showed snow. I mean, where they didn't show snow. It was green grass, but they were still wearing coats and bundled up. Just saying.
You'll see. You'll see.
Anyway.
All right, so we're going to roll right into this Boss or False.
Oh, we got a Boss or False?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Is it a boss move or a false move to listen without the intent to understand?
That depends on who you're talking to.
True.
Because when I'm at work, I'm listening with the intent on getting out of this conversation. And that's my goal. Hey, like how much, what do I have to hear and what you need, what you're trying to tell me in order to keep this moving. Like we don't need to continue this conversation no more. Go ahead and hear what you need to say. The main point or that you're trying to get across, and I'm out. Like, I ain't about all that.
That's true. I think a lot of people should take into context that, like, you know, our attention spans are diminishing.
Facts.
So
facts. We got like that. I think goldfish pay more attention than we do now. Like, remember they used to say that goldfish had the shortest attention span of all creatures on Earth. Yeah, I think that's reversed now. I think that's reversed.
So yeah, like people should like all right.
Can't even go take a shit without your phone. Shit terrible.
If you do, you start reading like the back of
your
soft cans.
Hey, for real, that's probably how people found out how the Lysol wipes kill coronavirus. That meme was made right on somebody's toilet.
Man.
Tragic. But yeah, people should like get ready to have conversations and like get to the meat of what they need done. Like, don't give me the whole spew of because like people will get lost in the context.
Yeah.
You give them a whole story, and the reason for the story was for them to just like do this one little thing over here. You done got me interested in like all this other stuff. Like, who is Johnny Bill? What happened to the car? What?
Where's my paddle?
Right? Like, and then all you wanted me to do was move some papers from here to there. Like, what?
Like, you ever been at work and had like a 20-minute conversation with a manager, and then like at the end of the story or the end of the conversation is like, so what you trying to tell me is I didn't make rate this week. It's like, I didn't need all that extra fluff, bro. Like, you could have just started off with that and I could have went back to making rate. God damn. Rate is production in our place of work. Everybody is what we're talking about. I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about the vanilla though.
30-minute conversation for a 5-minute problem. How do we get here?
Thank you. Exactly, fam. Is it a boss or a false move to I mean, we're gonna get back, wrap it around to the boss or false. Like, it's definitely a boss move to not give a flying fuck about nobody's time enough to the point where you just like come up to somebody and be like, yeah, so I got to tell you something, but to get there, in order to get there, I want you to take this little adventure with me. Take my hand and let's go down this yellow brick road and let's meet the scarecrow, the fucking lion, the Tin Man, and all these things, just so we can get to the wizard so the wizard can tell you exactly what I need to tell you. That's a boss move.
Oh my god.
False move.
It is.
False move.
Go ahead, explain yourself.
I don't like people to waste my time.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in not essentially just being completely rude and being like, hey, you're screwing up, but at least give them an explanation in short order.
Right. Yeah.
Don't make it like this whole entire thing that makes no sense, because then you have that person lose all respect for you.
Alyssa's the queen of that too. Like, I've seen her like be blunt, direct, and like carrying all in the same motion. It's like she'll answer a question, but it sounds like a question, but it makes you wonder about yourself too. Like, she'll like do something, like somebody will be like rude with her or something, and she'll be like, well, I can only do what I can do, but if you can do this for me, then go on about your business. The person just be standing there like, I guess you're right. Then they'd be like, she made me think about myself. Fuck that bitch.
Like, she got me again.
I should have my own master class on it.
You should.
Ooh.
You should.
Right.
Another stream of income for the Ascension Dynasty.
I feel it.
If I could channel you into speaking for me, that'd be wonderful. I can be like one of those arm people that acts for you, and then you're just my mouth.
Ooh.
Didn't they do that on was it Family Guy? No, who did that? It was a cartoon or something. They had an angry black guy translator, and they
You talking about it was on a cartoon.
It was on a cartoon, and they gave Barack Obama Mr. T or something.
I don't know. I know Key and Peele did it.
Key and Peele, it was.
Okay.
I remember it was a sketch or some sort. It was Key and Peele.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Barack Obama had Key as his angry black guy interpreter.
And then he got to like closer to the end of the speech, and then Obama started getting mad. He was like, "Whoa, bro, you need therapy." I was like, "You're the angry one." You.
It was like, and what I am trying to say is that we need to do a little bit better. You're fucking up. You're fucking up is what he's trying to say. I could be that for Alyssa on her masterclass. Just come over her shoulder and be like,
no.
get your shit together.
Get a pit food.
Just get a look like the Rock on Jumanji. The smoldering look, the smoldering gaze. Just come over her shoulder and be like,
smoldering gaze of intensity.
Get your shit together.
Oh man, good times.
Stop it! You're gonna scare someone.
Oh man.
Someone's child will watch.
Oh jeez. I hope not. Please don't let your kids.
Yeah, please don't let your kids listen to Dirty Trump podcast. They get their shit together, but they will get their shit together after the age of 18.
Facts. These are facts.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
But yeah, that definitely is a false move to waste somebody's time. I think short, sweet, to the point. Don't lead it in circles. Also, I hate those conversations that go in complete circles, and they never really like get to the point or like the understanding of it.
Yeah.
I recently had a conversation where it made a full flower. I thought that they were making
What?
Right.
Hold up. Hold up.
I said something.
Mm-hmm.
They started repeating back what they thought I said, and I was like, "Nope, you're getting a little bit closer, but no. I thought that we were there." And then they would be like, "Oh, but we were talking about this." Oh, no, bring it back. Nope. Oh, okay,
I think we
let's go.
both know the person that she's talking about. Glasses?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Never mind. Because he does that too.
He does.
He does that shit.
Yeah, I made a whole beautiful flower in the process.
Daisies.
Oh man.
I mean, like, let's not go there though, Mark, about like being too direct, because it's like we know firsthand off of our assessments alone that that some people like it more direct than others.
Right.
So there's definitely a level of how direct you can be with a certain person. Like me, I like straight to the point. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, just like, I mean, obviously I'm not saying that about like everybody, but like normal everyday people that I don't constantly interact with, the ones that got the ulterior motives. Like, when you come to me, you approach me correct. You tell me exactly what it is that you want, and we handle that thing, and we go about our business. But, you know, there's some other people that I actually don't mind talking to. Like, I mean, obviously Alyssa, you, Courtney, like, people that I don't mind talking to, but, you know, like certain people, like, you got to be, you don't come at me with no sidebar conversation. I don't want to have small talk. But there's also other people, like, you might be more receptive, a little bit more receptive to having a small talk or something like that. I don't really know. Because I just know that some people end up in like some weird conversations, and I'll walk up on it and I'll be like, how the fuck did y'all end up talking about that? Like, how we ended up talking about popcorn and periods while we at work? Y'all work operating power equipment, lifting boxes. How the fuck did we get to here? Like, how we get here? So, you know, some people might actually like having this small talk conversation, just, you know, because like that conversation started because the man wanted to ask him, did he have an extra box cut on the cone? Like, I mean, it's just some weird shit. Like, yeah, some weird stuff like that happen. Like, some people don't mind that. It's like, yeah, that makes the day go by faster. I'm like, yo, that destroys me internally. Like, do not have that small talk conversation with me, because we have no goal with this. So, and it goes back to 1,000 words. Like, be intentional with your words.
Yeah.
Like, be real intentional with how you say things. Why are you saying them? Don't talk just to be talking. And that's why I don't gossip. See how I went around the world with that?
If only you were more direct.
No. But like, all right, like that was like more of a informational. That was completely different from the conversation that you would have had with popcorn and periods. Because it's like, it's one thing to like talk and someone listens and they understand and they get something from the entire conversation, and then it's a total difference from you just talking because you just want to talk. You just want to hear like your voice, and like you would come up with the weirdest things, and like you would like just a lot of people do it at work. Like they say something out loud, and they wait for somebody to like react or notice it, and then they just latch on, and then just.
Remember the time I was telling you about the dude that was like complaining about something, and like I didn't give him like no eye contact, and he was like I kind of peeked up, and he was like looking at me after he was like saying like he was like, man, fuck this shit, man, and he just stood there staring at me, and I looked up, he was looking at me like nope, I'm busy. Then he said something again, man, this some bullshit, and then another dude walked up. And he was like, man, you hear this shit, man, that they talking about? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, bet that. Go over here. I'm out. I'm out.
He's like that version. Go.
Guinea pig, go. Deployed. Guinea pig, go.
But, so this topic came to be about because I had this heart-to-heart conversation with a couple of friends of mine. And they were talking, but wasn't like listening to each other. They both had like the same problems and all that. They felt like they weren't getting heard. Their feelings weren't acknowledged. Things they do wasn't acknowledged, and it was confusing because I'm like, y'all are going through the same thing. Like, just take a step back, understand how would your partner feel if they were going, through the same thing, which they are, and then understand it. Like, you're feeling the same way she's feeling, so where's the confusion coming from?
Okay, yeah.
Like, say you said something and she was hurt, and she said something similar, and you were hurt about it. Y'all both have that hurt, so why isn't it
reconciled?
Yeah.
I feel like
Go ahead.
I feel like so many times, especially in our society now, we're always so concerned about ourselves and protecting our own egos and our own feelings and whatever else that a lot of the times, especially with COVID, with the fact that everyone's so detached from everyone in general, I feel like we're almost losing our humanity in a way, just because of the fact that just because of the fact that like we have to find all these alternate routes of trying to get in touch with each other and can't, like, there's going to be kids growing up that can't hug their grandmothers or their grandfathers or whatever, that don't know how to receive that sort of information. Because for all we know, this is going to last years. There's going to be kids that are born this year that might not have like any sort of close interactions with anyone. So it's going to be one of those things that we all have to grow and fight through together, just because I think that just this year was so hard on everyone that it's like, okay, well, then I'm just going to protect me. I'm just going to protect how I feel. I'm just going to think about myself and how I'm going to get through this myself. And I think that part of it, I know that there's a lot of things going on of, okay, you need to make sure that yourself is protected. Make sure self-care is a thing, self this, self that. And I think that a lot of people have misconstrued it as, oh, okay, I'm going to only care about myself.
Right.
And a lot of the times people don't honestly think about the other person.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we have to intentionally work towards to try and make sure that we're not doing that. Like, even with me and him, every now and then I catch myself doing it, where I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is how he said it. This is how he probably meant it, but I'm going to take it this way. And then I have to really sit back and like, oh, he probably meant it this way. He just speaks in a different tone than I do and didn't say it the same exact way I do. And I think that that's just something that a lot of couples, especially a lot of families, whatever, friends, we have to really try and intentionally work on being like, oh, okay, let me step into this person's shoes for a moment.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I love how you said that. Because it like you said, it happens in like all relationships. It even happens with mine. The way, and wish she was here so she could hear. The way like Courtney talks and like her tone of voice or something like. Yeah, I even told my friends this, like, you guys come from two different worlds, and how you would talk to like a family member or somebody off the streets, you can't bring that into your relationship and talk to that person the same way.
Right.
You have to hold your partner to a higher standard. I mean, even if you do, you should want to like treat them differently anyway.
Yeah.
Courtney being from like, you know, Baltimore, the rough
hood.
and tough. Yeah.
The hood.
Sometimes when she says something or like how it comes off or how it sounds, it could be interpreted a different way. And I tell her that sometimes it's like your tone of voice is up here, and I understand how you talk to people at work and, you know, your friends and stuff, but like at home, you know, you gotta kind of switch that up a little
differentiate,
bit.
because you can't treat your partner. And I kind of had it was kind of the same communication issue that I had with her when the whole Facebook thing happened. It was kind of the same thing. You can't treat the people that's close to you like you treat the people at work, because at that point, like, I am no better than your enemy. Like, that's how I'm gonna feel when I'm looking at it, because like excuse me, we talked about the COVID, y'all, you know, I'm joking. I'm joking. Anyway, we talked about this on the previous episode. There's 3 levels of communication. There's the things that, if you're talking, there's something called your body language. There's something called the things that you say. And then there's the underlying tone or the underlying message that you're trying to get across. Now, when as humans, based off of those 3 things, what do y'all think is the biggest thing that we take away from a conversation?
I would want to say it's the body language, because that's
Body
the
language
thing that you see.
Body language is 75% of our conversation. And some people, and like Alyssa said, when everybody's thinking about self, when you're trying to be defensive and self-reliant, self-efficient, and resistant to letting things into yourself, and by self I mean into your world, your space, your blood circle, your no square, whatever you want to call it. Okay. The body language shows it. It's like, all right, so I approach you, and you know, if you look intimidating, then I mean it is going to be what it is. And bringing it back to your friends and their relationship, at a certain point in a relationship, the reason why I said this body language thing, like I really wanted to put a target on that, is because most people, when and you get to a point where you're in a relationship and you get complacent in your relationship. So at a certain point, you stop caring about what the other person sees as valuable, because you're like, oh, you ain't gonna leave nowhere anyway. Now, I don't know if that's the case with their relationship, but it happens to all of us. We get to a point where we get too comfortable in the relationship, so we start to slack off in things that our partner cares about. I've done it. It happens. It's a normal thing. You fall out of the courtship phase, and you just move on into a different phase, and then that phase just kind of have you just going the motions. And at that point, when 2 people having an issue and they're both in that phase, they have gone so far away from what brought them together in the first place, that now is when you talk, I don't hear what you're trying to say. I'm looking at your body language. Your body language is saying that, like, you approach me with this conversation, but your body language is showing defense. Not only is your body language showing defense, but your tone also sounds defensive and offensive all at the same time. It's like you're attacking me now. Like, I don't like that. So because I'm in that same mode, I'm not going to come back at you with, I understand. I get it. I understand this, because I don't hear what you're trying to say. I'm looking at your body language and I'm hearing what you're saying out of your mouth, but I'm not hearing that third level, that most important level, because those 75% of communication is body language. The most important is what that person means when they say it.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't hear that. And when you get to that point in a relationship, it's hard to hear that, because only thing you're thinking about is, how do I make this conversation stop? How do I get this person out of my face so I can end this conversation as fast as possible? So I'm going to piss them off as much as they're pissing me off, because I don't care I'm not listening to that third level. So that's how that's how we get that. I ain't no psychologist or nothing. I want to go ahead and put that out there. We are not professional psychologists and all that. I just listen and I pay attention, man. And I hear like successful people talk about this all the time. And I can't think of the man's name, but I seen him on Steve Harvey once, and he's a divorce lawyer, but he wrote a book called "If You're in My Office, It's Already Too Late." And he talks about this in a small scale. And I have the book on Audible. James Sexton, I want to say his name is. No, that might be somebody else's name. I don't know. I have his book on Audible. I'll go ahead and pull. I don't have my phone. It don't matter. But yeah, so I kind of heard that in that book too. So yeah, yeah, I read a lot too. So that's another,
and I told them this too. When the other speaks, you should want to kind of listen and understand where the hurt is coming from.
Yep.
Sometimes they might be just speaking out of anger or out just being upset. Figure out like you said, the underlying message, why they feel this way, what led them to feel this way, and then just try to work to resolve it.
Work backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of, because everybody speaks with their emotions, and a lot of times they're connected to so many other things, past traumas, what somebody did to them, or how they grew up, and all this other stuff. And then sometimes you have to dig through that to find the source.
Try not to get too deep into it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I know. I've been there. From personal experience, I will say though that, and this was around the time I started learning it. I ended up reading a lot of books on the relationship, like how to maintain a relationship. And what people should understand is that when you build a relationship, you're also building things on top of that relationship. That's why they say that if you build a relationship on a lie, once you start building all that other stuff, is going to crumble. It's going to crumble. Like your whole foundation is just going to fall from under you. Kind of like when them people who built that skyscraper on sand in California. But that was a different tragedy in of itself. Anyway, a lot of wasted money there. What you need to understand is that once you build a relationship, you start building things on top of that relationship. Whether it's you build other relationships off of your relationship, you build a business relationship with your partner. You build a friendship relationship with your partner, and you also build a romantic relationship with your partner. But in some cases, if you let those things get out of balance, because balance is what this is about. I can't be in a financial relationship with Alyssa if I'm not in a romantic relationship with Alyssa at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. With everybody else, you can be off balance, but in a relationship, especially in a household, it definitely should be some balance there. I can be friendly, but I can be stern with her, but I can't be too stern, because that throws the balance off. Now, once that sternness goes up, what do you think comes down? The romantic. The romantic drops significantly once that stern level go up. that romantic drops, and I had to, me especially, I had to be careful of that because I'm always stern. She'd probably tell you I'm way too direct for my own good, and I have way too many opinions. It's okay. I know. She like, as long as I didn't have to say it.
Like, as long as you know.
As long as you know, goddammit. Just over here sipping my coffee. But yeah, so balance, man. Like the problem is that once all of those other things go down, all of that feeds into the spectrum of whether I am romantic with my partner or at war with my partner. Because the other side of that romanticism is resentment. And most people, they're tipping the scale on that. Your whole relationship like a Libra scale. Like if I screw up this, then I'm off balance over here. If I screw up that way, then I'm off balance over here. Like you just can't get it right in the middle. And truthfully, like it'll never just stay directly in the center. But at the same time, you have to nurture it. Like once you build that romantic relationship, you got to understand that it is extremely possible to build that resentment in your partner as well. So there are things, and like you said, like there's situations that tie into emotions. It's hard when you're in that situation, when you're this close to it, to see the big picture. And if I'm this close to you and I didn't take a second to back up and figure out what I'm feeling, if I don't even know what I'm feeling, I can't tell you what I'm feeling. It's like a baby trying to tell you that something hurt. Like they can't tell you that it hurt because they don't know how to talk. They don't even know how to point yet. Like it's a baby. They don't know communication yet. They can't honestly tell you what hurts because they don't even know how to explain what hurt. Like excuse me. Lost my train of thought. You had to understand, like, you had to be 100% in tune with your own emotions in order to have that conversation with other people. There's a book that Alyssa and I read called Crucial Conversations, where they tell you that if you are having that conversation with someone, especially like if it's like you might say, like, every time I talk to her, she always want to argue. Or every time I talk to him, he just want to ignore me and just walk away from me. But you had to figure out why are they doing that? Right. Like if I need to have a conversation with you, I need to understand how you accept that information. And the biggest way to tell somebody that they're messing up is to tell them how you feel about how they're messing up, not how to. If I'm having an issue with what you're doing, then it's easy for me to point fingers and be like accusing of what you're doing just by coming up, be like, well, you always doing this, you always doing that, and every time you do this, and no, because what's going to happen is that person is going to get defensive because you're just pointing out all of their flaws. But if you switch it up a little bit and say, all right, so you did this, and I ain't mad at you for doing that. If you think that's what you needed to do, then by all means, it is what it is. But let me tell you how it made me feel. So at that point, you connected to that person's actions connecting with you, because most people in relationships, they get so in tune with self. Like she just said it. They get so in tune with self that self-defense thing starts to come up in your relationship. You shouldn't have to have self-defense when it comes to your partner. Just in case y'all didn't hear me, if you have to display self-defense when it comes to your partner, then y'all not in a relationship. Y'all in a wrestling match.
Facts. Because all right, so how I got called and how the situation started or whatever. Something was said. It was misunderstood, and it just started to go back and forth with the miscommunication. And I asked her, I was like, you felt wrongly about what he said or what he posted or this, that, and third. She was like, yeah. But I'm like, you know him. You've been with him for, a certain amount of years. Why would you think that's a part of his character?
All of a sudden.
Yeah. Because it was a post that was made, and she felt it was sexist. And I'm like, would that still, if he was that, would that still change up how you would feel about him? She was like, yeah. 'Cause that means he doesn't respect me or women in general. But he's not. So how?
Why does it matter?
Right.
Yeah.
But like if your feelings were hurt in that process, just let him know, and then just let him handle it.
Like, ask him, like, further explain what you meant by that, because like I seen that and it made me feel some type of way. Like,
right. And then if he had no intentions of hurting, because I mean I understand that sometimes your actions with a loved one, sometimes you just don't think of it because they're that close to you. You wouldn't think it would hurt them, but sometimes it just does. It happens. It happens all the time. But like so many people get so bent up and out of shape about it. Oh, we've been together for years, but this one incident, you just all that just flies out the window.
Go sleep on the couch.
So how do we get to a point of like I said, listening and understanding? Like once the heat builds up, how do we just calm down?
I want the woman to answer that first, because as a man, I have a different perspective on it.
I'm not exactly sure how to start with my answer. I am infamous for holding my feelings back. Whether it be that somebody says something that I don't particularly care for, or a way that somebody says it. That's why every now and then you'll catch me saying, Aaron, tone. The way that I react or say something is far different than a lot of other people, especially in this area, speak. I speak very calmly all the time just because that's how I grow up. I don't like when people yell. I don't like when people get aggressive. I don't like, that's not me. And the way that I resolve things is different than most other people, especially around me in general. Like even between me and my sister, it's different. But I think that it's kind of perfect example. When the whole group therapy part 1 rolled around, I had to sort of step into Courtney's shoes or everyone's shoes and be like, oh, okay, this is probably what they meant here. Like if I know this individual like I think I do, I know that they probably would have meant this, or this was said in the heat of the moment here and it shouldn't have been said, but that's what they do. So I think that it's just one of those things that we just have to be very intentional about stepping out of my box, especially, and just being like, hey, that kind of hurt. Did you mean that? Hey, that kind of could have been handled a different way. Have you thought about doing it this way? Or like we were talking about, like me and you would probably be like the main coordinated people because like we react on the same level
right.
And we can be the primary contact when things like that happen again. Yes. But I mean, it's just it's something that we all have to work on.
Right.
It's very hard for me to come out of my box and being like, hey, you're doing something wrong. I don't really like it. And it's just easier for me to kind of absorb that because it's a lot easier for me to just kind of absorb it and let it go. But it doesn't make it much easier for that individual to know, hey, that kind of upsets her. Let's not do that again, or try not to. And I am one of those types of people that I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But like he says, it's one of those things that could lead to resentment if I was a different person. For me, I'm just kind of like, okay, just put it out of my mind. If it happens a lot, then it would build up resentment. But it's pretty easy for me to just let things go. But yeah, not everyone else is the same way.
See, I have a bit of a different take on what she just said, because like I can't tell you how many times I've said something and I knew it upset her, but she said, it's fine. No, it's not. That really pissed you off. No, it's fine. Like she always says, every single time. And she said that, and I tell her all the time, like, yo, like, check me. That's what you're here for. Like we have a two-way relationship. This ain't a one-way radio. Like if I say something over the airwaves that's a little messed up, say something back. Like let me know like what's going on. Like, yo, like that what you just said, I ain't particularly like that. let's not do that again. Like, just tell me. I'm good. Like, just let me know. If I'm messing up, just let me know. If I make you feel some type of way, because I am very much invested in your feelings, like, let me know so I can not mess with your feelings, because my particular goal is to make sure that your feelings are in a good place. Like, that's my job. That's my duty as your significant other, to make you feel comfortable when you're with me. So if there's some kind of underlying doubt, if we don't address it, how does it ever get addressed? Mm-hmm. If you create a reality in your mind based off of the things that you so-called put to the side and let go, where does that leave me at the end? I don't personally believe that if things don't get addressed, then they can actually be let go, because there is some part of your brain that holds that. And we talked about on a previous episode about getting closure for situations. You can also get closure based off of things that somebody said, because if she says something that bothers me, and I don't know what she meant by it, and I never asked about it, and I just put it to the side, who's to say that she doesn't feel a certain type of way, and I don't base my next decision off of what you said previously that I said that I put to the side. And somehow I think that kind of plays into how the one of the biggest issues that we have, you making decisions for me.
I try not to.
I kind of think that's
why I don't make very many decisions.
I think that's based off of, and see, you wouldn't need to do that. You wouldn't need to say something like that if you actually addressed the things that bothered you. We could be on a different page together, opposed to being in the same book on two separate pages. We can be in the middle of the book.
That's not how books work.
Yeah, no.
But we're on this page and this page when we could be together throughout the entire book.
Gotcha.
So see how you didn't understand what I was trying to say. So
you clarified. Why not just say the same sentence?
Ooh, even better. Ooh.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Listening to understand and not listening with the intent to respond. Which did you understand? See? Exactly. So I don't necessarily believe in the whole like, because if she says something, I'm on it. Like, yo, hold up. Bring that back. Let's talk about that for a second. What did you mean by that? And I'm quick to do it. Like, I don't let it slide off for a few days. I don't go back to it like 2 days later, next week or next month. Because no, I'm thinking about this right now. You just said that. Let's go back and talk about that. Like, don't say that no more. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I do it all the time. But her, on the other hand, she would just let it go. Let it go.
I do.
Quote unquote. No one lets anything go. That's
Yes,
not how brains work. That's not how brains work. Because what you put into your brain, whether positive or negative, has some kind of effect on your future.
Yeah.
That's why I just tell you to watch your tone.
But
that's what I take, is the tone. The words. Unless they mean something to me, then I let them go.
Some people can be wired that way. The brain is like it's designed to solve problems. That's where like a whole lot of dreams and stuff comes from, and people like don't really understand. But it's your subconscious understands more than you give credit for, and
whew. Talk about a distraction. Jeez, man.
Through headphones and everything.
Damn.
Brain is designed to solve problems, and that's how your subconscious works. It picks up on things you might thought you have forgotten or let go. Your subconscious just holds it, and it just grows and festers, and sometimes it'll lead into like weird nightmares, night terrors, weird dreams, and you wake up feeling like, what does that mean? Why was that person in there, or something like that? And it's just trying to solve a problem. It can't really speak to you, but it's...
So what you're saying is that if I'm having an issue with my significant other and I don't address the issues, that's a good way to have dreams about your relationship ending.
It could be. Depends on how the dream is set up, what's in it and all the other stuff. We're not gonna get too much into that, but
I told you my dream this morning. It was a pleasant dream. We were in Germany.
But if you start having dreams about us ending,
I mean, like I said, it depends on
subconscious mind.
We were happy. So
Good.
a lot of times, especially in the relationship with my friends, the putting off of something that grows and festers, and then when it's brought up after, you know, it's been said that, you know, it was over, it was done, the other person thought it was, you know, nothing to it. How is that? How does that? How do we get around that? How do we get into the mindset of addressing it when it comes up?
Don't be a little bitch.
But in a nicer way. Like, how do we? Because in some relationships, it is not a safe space. Like, they feel like it's not a safe space to. Oh, you have to keep.
All right. So addressing the fact that your relationship doesn't feel like a safe space might actually be the part that you start with, and not the actual problem that you're having in the moment. You're gonna have to come back on that one. Like, yeah, at that point, like if you feel like, all right, so Alyssa in her last relationship, she expressed to me that her significant other, he was verbally abusive. And anytime they would get into an argument, he would do some fuck shit, like make her feel like it's her fault and like real narcissistic. Like, she kind of brought that into this relationship. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. She,
I'm verbally abusive to you?
Nah, that ain't what I said. she bought the. Oh yeah, actually, that is what I said. I'm glad you clarified. She bought the mentality of being in that relationship into this relationship. So whenever we would have like a serious conversation, she would opt out of the conversation. Like, I'm like, no, we kind of need to discuss this. It's kind of important, you know. We talking about building the future together. We got kids' names already written down somewhere. We might want to actually sit down and have this conversation. And she was the type of person that used to like walk out the room. Like, if I'm having a conversation with her, like a serious conversation, she would leave. And I'm just like, yo, we kind of have to address that. Like, we can't move further until we talk about this. And like every time she came around, she would say, I'm good, I'm fine. But I'm like, no, I still need to discuss this. This you walking out the room on me, like, yo, like you left. like I need for my closure. I need to handle that. I don't like to leave things on the table. If there's a problem, I want to handle the problem now. I can't personally understand how somebody could say that they're having a situation with their spouse or their significant other, and they go sleep on the couch. Like, who made a song talking about never going to bed mad? Who's somebody?
I don't know if it's a song.
Neo.
Oh,
Neo.
yeah,
Remember the song?
Mad.
Yeah. He made a song, and I don't want to go to bed mad at you, and I don't want to go to bed. Remember that?
I don't remember that's how the song went, but I remember that song.
We gonna play the song. Where your phone at? Play the song.
It's in the.
All right, never mind. All right, so yeah, Neo made a song called Mad, and he said that he.
When You're Mad, that's what's the name of it.
Sure, what I. Oh no, that was a different song.
Oh. Well, then I don't know which one you're talking about.
Because that was the one where he was like, you're sexy when you're mad or something like that. Yeah, that was a different song. Anyway, that one was called... We'll figure that out. That's a different conversation. But anyway, I don't understand the mentality of two people supposedly being in a relationship and they can't talk things out. Like, if I gotta wait to have a conversation with you, you know what waiting does in the light of a serious problem? If I'm having a serious problem with you and we don't communicate that thing out, You know how many things my brain can do in the process of me trying to wait for you to get your shit together so we can actually have this conversation?
Overthinking.
Do you know that the human mind, the human brain has over 8,000 thoughts an hour, and you want to wait to have this conversation? And negativity is the easiest thing to think about in your brain. So around the time that you want to wait this conversation out, while you want to wait to have this conversation, do you know how many negative thoughts that I'm going to have about that conversation? And then the negative mindset and the negative mentality that I'm going to bring into that conversation because you decided to wait. So I'm going to say, like, to answer that question, I just don't understand why anybody will want to wait to have a conversation when there's a problem. Like, there's a problem. We need to address that thing. Alyssa, like, I want to be in a power couple type relationship with Alyssa. Like, we like Jay-Z and Beyonce, or, some celebrity biracial couple. Anyway, I want to be that. So I personally don't believe that we can be that if we have those kind of issues that's underlying our success. Because I can't focus on what I need to do if I'm focused on the conversation that we're supposed to have, and you made me wait. I can't focus on the work that I need to do. I can't focus on writing when you making me wait to have a serious conversation. I can't do that. I personally won't do that. And she would tell you, like, I don't let those things wait. I attack that thing head on. She like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, no, we need to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. No, we need to talk about it. No, I don't want to talk about that right now. No, we need to talk about it right now. Right now. Like yesterday, we needed to talk about that. Why we ain't talk about it yet?
So I will say that he does do that. And I think that the only way that we've really come to an agreement on it is if I basically tell him, okay, you're going to need to watch your tone though.
Okay.
And
does he?
He still has some improvement.
Okay. As long as you know.
But I am very much the type of person that believes in not having a conversation in the heat of a moment. Just because things can be said that we don't necessarily mean. Sometimes, especially me when I'm sad, I'm just like, yep, well, nope, okay, we're just going to give up. I'm good, whatever. And then I just go to bed and cry it out and whatever else. Whereas if I give myself like a half an hour, then it's a lot easier for me to think, okay, calm. Like, let's have an honest conversation. What are you thinking? And then it turns out a lot better.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. Like the waiting part, like the waiting is just like, okay, we can't talk about this today. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Like, I don't feel like dealing with this right now today. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Like, I agree with the having conversations in the heat of the moment. Like, I get that. And I feel the same way. Like, if I'm upset about something, like if I'm in the heat of battle or with something, then I can't address it at that moment. But I have never been like that in my relationships.
Yeah.
I don't get like that until I'm about to hit somebody. Like, I had a situation last week where a person decided that they want to stick their chest out when they was talking to me, and my tongue was itching for like the next 8 hours. And my manager was just like, no, you can't say nothing to that. You can't address that. Like, not the way that you want to address it. And I'm like, nah, fire his ass. Like, I don't even want to have a conversation. I just rather take him straight to HR. Like, yo, like I don't enjoy somebody. That's a different conversation. But that's the same thing. Like, I got into the heat of the moment with somebody who I don't even know. Like, this dude don't know me, and I don't know him, and I wouldn't necessarily get like that in my relationship. So you saying that you need 30 minutes to chill out, by all means, let me, but don't walk away from me. Like, if
I haven't since. And I haven't since.
Yeah, we worked on that. But, that's something that we work on. Most couples don't do that. Most couples don't work on that thing. We want to work on what we what we are like as a couple when we're good together, but we don't want to work on what we're like when we're upset with each other or when we're having problems. And that's the biggest issue right there, because practice makes perfect. But if you only practice for the good, when the bad hits you, you don't know how to act. You don't know how to act. That's why, like, when at the beginning of our relationship, she used to think that we were fighting, and I'm like, you think this is a fight? You should have seen my last relationship. You think this is a fight? Girl, come on. No, I just have a strong opinion about something. This ain't no fight. And if you with me, you probably would never see a fight. This ain't no fight. So, and we worked on that, and we worked on it together. We talked about these things. She's more reluctant to it than I am, you know, but I'm just the person. I'm a little bit more direct and like to tell people how I'm feeling and how I'm thinking. That's just me. That's always been me. I spent too much of my life being a pushover and a bitch for other people that had power over me. I ain't doing that no more. Not to say that that's what she's trying to do, but you know, that's the reason why I'm direct. That's why I do what I do. That's how I crafted myself to handle my stuff when my stuff come up. So as a person in a relationship, you got to practice that thing. You got to go in the lab with it, just like you would go in the lab for business. Like if you focus on your business as much as you focus on your marriage, like most people wouldn't get divorced. If you focused on your marriage as much as you focus on working overtime at your job, you wouldn't get divorced. If you focused on your marriage more than you focused on your fucking parents, like my dude, you wouldn't be divorced. Like, come on, like it's not rocket science. If I work on something, that thing can't fail on me. And if I work on it hard enough to the point that I understand it, completely understand that this is exactly what I needed to be. If I put in this effort, then this is what I'm going to get out. And if I take away this effort, this is what I'm going to get in. I need to understand that. Me personally, I need to understand that on all levels of the game. So for a person who doesn't focus on it and doesn't pay it any mind, guess what's going to happen to their relationship? It's going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's simple math. I don't need no math. Like, I don't like math like that, but it's math.
This is right. So, at the end of all that, I told him, like, faith, love, and respect. Show that constantly, with no intentions of return value. And I said, just show that to each other. Faith, love, and respect, and just work it out. Like, listen, understand, and understand that y'all got together for a reason.
Yeah.
And this is for anybody out there in a relationship that's going through hard times. Y'all got together for a reason. Focus on those good times. Bad times are bound to happen.
Yeah.
It's a part of life.
Don't run from them.
Understand where the hurt is coming from, or the trauma, and work to put your partner in a secure space to where they can talk to you, where they can open up everything to you, so you can get a better, understanding of what's going on with them.
Yep.
And then y'all just both do the same thing to each other and be happy. Be happy. Jesus.
Oh man, anything else to add, Lee?
Nope.
Yep. On that note, we gonna go ahead and end it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome, and we definitely discussed a really, really plump one on this episode. So, you guys heard it here. Go back to the beginning in your relationship. Go back to the beginning. Go back to what made y'all fall in love. And if both of y'all can't feel that, then my dude, make sure that you work day and night to try to fix what you have in front of you that's falling apart. Go back to the beginning, fix that thing, man, because y'all fell in love for a reason.
Right.
Y'all got together for a reason, and y'all built everything that you've done from that point on. It will reflect in that moment. So go back to the beginning, man. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end it here. You guys make sure that you leave a review, because
We need them.
We need them things. We need them things like real bad. Like
and share.
Yeah, like and share. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as well as turn your notifications on so you can get an update anytime that we do. Anytime we upload a video, especially if we do a premiere. I think next week I'm gonna go ahead and do a premiere for the rest of this month. I think I'm gonna do a premiere. So yeah, we gonna go ahead and make that happen. So yeah, so hit me up on there. Make sure that you guys reach out to us on all of our various social medias that will be in the description below, and we will see you next week.
Hey, peace.